Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Direct and immediate self-realization. Sakshat Aparoksh Brahmanubhuti. The ultimate goal of human life, as stated in the Vedanta philosophy, in the Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita, is moksha. What is moksha? What is the nature of moksha? Moksha, liberation, is of the nature of permanent cessation of all sorrows and sufferings and attainment of infinite and everlasting unconditional love and bliss. And this is attained only and only by the means of realization of the nature of the self, your own nature. The same is called as self-realization, God realization, Brahman realization, or enlightenment. Because all sorrows and sufferings and lack of permanent bliss is not because it is not available. It's simply because of the ignorance on our part, that we, out of our ignorance about our true nature, the nature of our reality, we have associated ourselves with this mind-body complex. We have come to identify ourselves as this body, the senses, the mind, intellect and ego. And none of these are reality, none of these are our inner reality. These are all superimpositions. Our self, our reality, the innermost core of ours is free from all sorrows and sufferings, and blissfulness and unconditioned love is intrinsic and inherent in it. And yet, because we have come to identify ourselves with not self, that is the body, mind, senses, intellect, ego, these are all not self, inert. They are lifeless, they are insubstantial superimpositions, appearances. Therefore, by themselves, they have no power, no energy, no life in themselves. Whenever we see the body, senses, mind and intellect functioning, working, thinking, enjoying and experiencing, it is only and only through the power, through the energy borrowed from pure consciousness, which is ever present as Pratyagatman, Sakshi Chaitanya, witnessing consciousness within ourselves. That is our reality, that is our true identity, but we don't know about it. Due to our ignorance, the real has become unreal and invisible, as it were, and the unreal, the borrowed, the appearances called mind, body, ego, intellect and senses have occupied a place of preeminence in the scheme of our life, the greatest tragedy. So now let's try to understand. Today I will take just one small sentence from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad that will immediately lead to, if you could understand it, to direct and immediate self-realization. Sakshat Aparokshanubhuti. Sakshat Aparokshanubhuti means it's direct because it doesn't depend on any other instrument, any aid or instrument, as in the case of our daily experiences. If we want to see some external object, the eyes, the ears, nose, etc., the sensory perception, the sense organs are instrument, and only through the sensory organs the mind and intellect can perceive something, can experience something. But whether the senses or the mind or the intellect, these are all non-entities, inert. They have no light, they have no capacity to experience or know anything. So who is there, who has the real power, real energy, whereby the entire body, the body organs, the senses, the mind and intellect become functional? This is I consciousness, I pratyaya, aham pratyaya. Whether it's body, senses, mind or intellect or ego, all of them function, survive only by the power, by the energy, by the light of that Atman, that is the witnessing consciousness, that I consciousness. The ever shining I alone is the supreme truth, the supreme reality. The I that is there, and once you begin to investigate the nature of the I, the locus of the I, you come to realize that even within the body, once you begin to explore as to who am I, then there are various instructional methods, and still once you honestly begin to explore deeper, there is no locus where you could locate the I consciousness, the aham pratyaya. Where is the object, and what is the object of I consciousness? Aham pratyaya, aham vritti. Even though there is no doubt in the mind of anybody else that I am is indubitable fact of everyday's experience, that I am. Nobody ever, forget about humans, even the animals, any living being cannot deny its own existence. The existence, the beingness of every jiva is self-proven. Even the one who dismisses and denies the existence of God or Brahman or Atman, he or she can't deny his or her own existence. And that sense of his or her own existence and the sense of certitude about I am, I exist, I know, that I am is the supreme reality. that I am is Brahman, that I am is God, that I am is Atman. The nature of I, who am I, who am I, there is no locus, even though the Upanishads and the Vedanta philosophy tells you that the Lord is ever present in the cavity of the heart, and the heart means intellect. So where is the intellect? As against the Western paradigm that the Western scientists believe and say that the consciousness or knowingness is a function of brain, and brain is matter. The Vedantic seers and sages are in absolute disagreement. The no matter, inert, insentient matter can ever produce consciousness. The reverse is what appears to be more true even to an ordinary mind. That first the sense of I amness, the I consciousness comes, and that I, the existence of I alone, is a irrefutable reality in our own life, empirical reality. Everything is changing. The contents of our consciousness is ever changing. It's all mutable. But I am the one since my childhood, my adulthood, and through various ups and downs, I am there as an experiencer of all the changes, the happiness, the sadness, the goodness, the badness that I have ever experienced are all experienced in and upon and through I that is none other than pure consciousness, Pragyana Tattva, Prakishta Jnanam, that pure consciousness that is non-dual and without beginning and end, it's immortal reality. That is our Atman. So how to know our Atman? We will today directly and immediately go straight to the supreme reality, the Brahman, the God, the Atman, our own innermost core. We will take that small sloka of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Ayamatma Brahma Sarvanubhuh. Ayamatma Brahma Sarvanubhuh. Maharshi Yagyavalkya says that this Atman which perceives everything is Brahman, the supreme reality. Sarvanubhuh means experiencer of everything. Ayamatma Brahma Sarvanubhuh. This Atman, this that is being experienced right now, right here, in every experience, in every state of mind. How? Whenever we are experiencing, we are perceiving something, we are knowing something, we are hearing or seeing something, the real and ultimate perceiver of everything is none other than Atman. When this speaker is speaking at this moment, and when you are hearing this discourse somewhere at some point of time, both of the experiences are happening in and through that Atman. that is pure consciousness, the ever present I amness within you and within me, and there is no distinction and division. Now tell me, since morning to evening, how many experiences, how many perceptions you have gone through, and yet you say that you don't know what is God, what is Brahman, what is Atman, but know for sure that every single knowing, perceiving, seeing and hearing is ultimately being facilitated, enabled, and is happening through that Atman alone. Sarvanubhuh. There, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says that there is no other hearer but He. Who? He means here the Brahman, the Paramatman, the God, ever seated in the heart of every jiva as Pratyagatman, indwelling self or witnessing consciousness. That alone is the real perceiver. Now, whenever you are experiencing something, in every single experience, in every act of seeing, in every act of hearing, in every act of thinking, the God and its existence, the Brahman, the Atman, they are words for the same supreme reality, the ultimate reality, and that reality is the only reality of the entire universe, the substratum of the entire universe, beyond time, space and causality. So that Brahman, that Atman, that God is ever present within you, and you are experiencing through that reality, that is Atman. Your daily function, your daily experiences are all happening in and through Paramatman, through Brahman, and yet you are unaware that the God and you are one and the same, the God and you are intimate, non-different. There is no other God, other Brahman than me, I, the perceiver of everything, the experiencer of everything, the seer of everything, the knower of everything, the thinker of everything. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says that there is no seer but Him. Him means Atman, Paramatman, God, Brahman. There is no seer but Him. There is no hearer but Him. There is no thinker but Him. There is no perceiver but Him. Now, since morning to evening, how many perceptions, how many knowings, how many experiences, how many seeing, hearing we have gone through? Thousands and thousands and thousands, and all these have happened to you, the God. When you are absent, nothing can be experienced, nothing can be known, nothing can be seen, nothing can be heard. And that personality, that entity, that reality is the supreme reality of the nature of pure consciousness. That is God, that is Brahman, and that you are, Tattvamasi. Now tell me, what is difficulty? Right now, right here, whenever you are perceiving something, you are seeing something, you are hearing something, you are experiencing something, the experiencer of every experience is Brahman, the God, the Atman. The seer in every seeing is none other than the Brahman, the Paramatman, the Atman. The hearer in the every hearing, the act of every hearing, is none other than the Atman, the Paramatman, the Brahman, the God, who is ever seated within you, the one knower, one thinker, only one reality, and present in every individual Jiva as Sakshi Chaitanya with the Upadhi, the limiting adjunct of body and mind, it's called Sakshi. Once it gets dissociated with this body-mind complex, this alone is called Brahman, Paramatman, Supreme Self. The self of yours, when dissociated with the Upadhi of mind and body, is right now, right here, infinite, absolute, unconditioned Brahman, the Supreme Reality. So there is no difference, there is no distinction, there is absolute unity between the individual self and the Supreme Self, and every moment, whether you are a believer or a non-believer, which caste, creed or community you belong to, it doesn't matter, but every jiva is Shiva, because every sentient being is capable of experiencing, seeing, knowing, hearing, simply because the God is present within him or her. He or she is that Supreme Reality, manifestation of that reality. So you can right now, right here, directly and immediately realize that God, that Brahman, the Supreme Reality, the Atman, immutable and immortal. Once you investigate, watch and try to locate the one who is perceiving, the one who is knowing, the power that is seeing and hearing, and there is only one power, that is the power of pure consciousness, absolute awareness, infinite intelligence. These are the different words I am using for your easy understanding. This is one reality. Whether you call Bhagavan or God or Brahman or Atman or Paramatman or Supreme Self, this is one reality. Advitiya Chaitanya Brahma, non-dual Supreme Reality, and that reality is ever functioning, ever being experienced. Pratibodha Viditam Matam in Kena Upanishad. Directly and immediately you can go straight to that realm of Brahmanhood, the heaven of God, the Atman. How? Pratibodha Viditam Matam. In every experience of your mind, in every mental state, in every cognition of yours, the cognizer is the Brahman, the cognizer is the Atman. In every knowing since morning to evening, good, bad, ugly, whatever, knowing, every perception or knowing or experience is happening to whom and happening through whom? That is pure consciousness, the Atman, the Paramatman. Pratibodha Viditam Matam. Pratibodha in every cognition. When you are seeing something, the seeing presupposes a seer. Whenever you are hearing something, there must be some hearer. Whenever you are experiencing something, there must be an experiencer. Whenever you know something, there must be a knower. And that knower, that hearer, that seer, that perceiver, that experiencer is none other than that Sakshi Chaitanya, Sakshi Cheda Kevalo, witnessing consciousness ever present within you and ever unconditioned, unattached. It is not attached to the body, though it is present in every cell of the body, the entire body, the organs, the senses, everything is being animated and borrows the light of pure consciousness and functions as if itself is sentient, but that means nothing. Consciousness is absolutely unattached, and yet without its presence you can't do anything. Nothing. You are dead as log. Jagat Guru Adi Shankaracharya says, Sarvopi vyavaharasto brahmana kriyate janai ajnana vijananti mridevahi ghatadikam. Every behavior, every work, every action is being done, is happening through none other than the Brahman, that pure consciousness. Without the presence of pure consciousness, nothing can happen, nothing can be experienced, nothing can be known, nothing can be felt, nothing can be perceived or cognized. And this cognition, knowing, perception, experience is happening not only to human beings, to every jiva, every living being is experiencing some or the other thing. That experiencer, that perceiver of the daily life is none other than this Paramatman. That alone is called Brahman. That is the eternal, absolute, immortal reality, and that is your reality. Therefore, this is the direct and immediate realization of your supreme reality of Brahman, Sakshat Aparokshanubhuti. The moment you shut out your senses, quieten your mind and look within, you go straight to that I consciousness, I am. That I am is the ultimate perceiver, I am is the ultimate knower, I am is the ultimate experiencer, seer, hearer of everything. And I am alone is that Atman, that Paramatman, that Brahman, right now, right here, ever. Because of my ignorance alone, I have come to believe that I am mortal, perishable, pitiable, full of afflictions. No, nothing can afflict me. All afflictions, all sorrows and sufferings are due to this mutual superimposition. We have come to believe the sentient as insentient and insentient as sentient. So remove these superimpositions of the body-mind identity, which is every moment is changing, ever changing body-mind complex, and there our immutable, eternal, immortal self is ever present, ever shining through every single function of every senses. Sarvendriya gunabhasam sarvendriya vivarjitam. In 13th chapter Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, in every single function of every single sense or sensory organ, the God is shining, the Lord is shining, the Brahman is shining, and yet you are saying that you can't see God. Who is stupid? Who is more miserable than you? Every moment God alone is being experienced, and yet you say that you don't know Atman, you don't know God. God is ever shining, blazing forth through every experience of every sense. Pratibodha viditam matam. In every state of mind, there is nothing but God, the Brahman is shining through every senses, whether the motor organs or sensory organs. The Lord Himself is animating, functioning, shining, revealing. Tell me, when and where you are free from the functions of the senses? So the light of pure consciousness, which is Brahman, which is Atman, which is Paramatman, is the core personality, the reality, identity of yours, and that alone is the true identity. Brahma satyam jagan mithya jivo brahmaiva naparaha. Therefore, right now, right here, sit down, shut out your senses, quieten your mind, and take your entire focus to the core of I-ness. I amness. I amness is of the nature of infinite intelligence, absolute awareness, pure consciousness. There is no duality in this. Free from the knower, knowing, and object of knowing. Just pure consciousness. True nature of mind is just pure consciousness, absolute awareness, infinite intelligence. I am. I am is the absolute existence. I am alone is pure consciousness, and I am alone is intrinsically and inherently source, substance, and substratum of all love, bliss, and beauty. Wherever and whenever we experience any kind of love, bliss, or beauty, it is a tiny ray of my own self. There is nowhere a single atom of love, pleasure, happiness, beauty anywhere other than my Atman. The entire universe is a projection and emanation of my own self. As in the case of the dream, the dreamer alone appears as the dream world through projection. Even so, in the so-called waking world, I, the pure consciousness, the Atman alone, am appearing as the entire universe. I am the one immutable seer of the entire universe of objectivity. And there is no other reality other than me. Kaivalya Upanishad declares, Mayyeva sakalam jatam mayi sarvam pratishtitam. Mayyeva sakalam jatam mayi sarvam pratishtitam. Mayi sarvam layam yate sar tad brahmadvayasmyaham. I am that non-dual Brahman, the supreme reality, out of which and in which the entire universe is arising, in which the entire universe is existing, and finally in which the entire universe dissolves back. I am that supreme reality, the non-dual reality of the nature of pure consciousness, and I am right now here being experienced as I am. Aham pratyay, aham, 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 aham. Main, I. The one who is ever shining as I is the Brahman right now, right here. Whether you believe it or not, that is a matter of experience. It's not a matter of faith or belief. The I has never changed since childhood. You see, this is one immutable reality that is seer of everything, seer of all changes. This immutable is the perceiver of all mutability of the perishable life. Therefore, right now, just think and realize that the seer within me is none other than the Brahman. The hearer within me is none other than the Brahman. Whenever I see something right there, I am present as the seer, and that seeing is happening through my power, and I am immutable, eternal, immortal, pure consciousness, the Atman, the Brahman. In every single experience, pratibodha viditam matam, every state of mind, A normal human mind has at least 10,000 thoughts in 24 hours. So at least 10,000 times you experience the God, the Lord, the Brahman. You miss the opportunity and you are spending lives and lives and lives and say that you have not experienced God, you can't see God. You are experiencing, you are seeing directly, immediately perceiving God, but because of your ignorance, you are unaware about the fact that this alone is, you are that supreme reality. Whether you are believer or a non-believer, whether you are a Hindu or a Muslim or a Christian or a man or a woman or a sinner or a virtuous, it doesn't matter. The reality, the supreme reality, unconditioned reality ever present within you. The God is not bothered whether you are sinner or virtuous, the righteous or the wrongful one. Your essence, your reality, that of pure consciousness, nature, is ever present reality. And whenever you sit down, and once you realize that you don't need to sit down, or you can experience God every moment, walking, talking, eating, doing, working, because in the light, the reflected light of pure consciousness, that is Chidabhasa, Brahmabhasa, every single activity of your life is being enabled, energized, empowered by none other than Brahman, the pure consciousness. Remove the pure consciousness for a single moment, everything comes to naught, to zero. So God alone is present in every action, in every experience, in every knowing and seeing and hearing. This is called Sakshat Aparokshanubhuti. It has been propounded in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. And it's so simple, so direct, but you need to have pure heart. Pure heart means the mind and body free from desires for external pleasures, momentary ephemeral pleasures. Once you are free from that, you sit down, and then the self-effulgent, the light of pure consciousness is never extinguished. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakah nema vidyuto bhanti kutah ayamagnihi tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam tameva bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. The most radical and revolutionary sloka of the Upanishads. This single sloka is found in 3 Upanishads: Mundak Upanishad, Kathopanishad and Shvetashwar Upanishad. It reveals immediately and directly the nature of the Brahman. It says that Na tatra suryo bhati, the sun doesn't shine there. What is there? Tatra. There is your own Atman. It's referring to the Atman, the Brahman that is present within you, the pure consciousness within you. There the sun can't reach, sun can't shine. Neither the moon nor the stars, nor the fire nor the electricity. None can shine there, because by the shining of that, who is that? That your Atman. By the shining of your own Atman, all these material lights are kindled or begin to shine. In other words, first and foremost, light of pure consciousness must be present, and with the light of pure consciousness, and in the light of pure consciousness alone, the sun can shine. The sun has no power to illumine my consciousness, my Atman. The reverse happens. I am the light of sun, I am the light of moon, I am the light of the stars, not vice versa. If the Atma Chaitanya, Atma Prakasha, Brahma Prakash is not present, nothing can be experienced. No sun, no moonlight, no stars, no galaxies, no electricity, no fire, nothing. These are all appearances within me. I am substratum of the sun, moon, the stars and galaxies and fire and electricity, every light. I am the light of all lights. Who is I? The Atman, the pure consciousness, the absolute awareness ever present within me. Finally, as I started, the perceiver within me, the seer within me, Ayamatma Brahma Sarvanubhu. The Atman, the self that is perceiving everything, seeing everything, thinking, perceiving, hearing. That is Atman, that is immortal, that is birthless, deathless, free from all afflictions, all sorrows, sufferings happens to the mind, the Asthul Sharira and Sukshma Sharira, the gross body and the subtle body and the causal body, and I am free from all the bodies. They are due to ignorance. Once I am free from these bodies through Neti Adhyasa, then I am their self-effulgent, self-luminous, self-existing reality, the Atman ever present. So the Atman is right now, right here, immediately and directly realized, recognized, experienced. Now I must abide in that supreme truth, which is called Brahmanistha, which is called Moksha. Once I recognize, realize and begin to abide in the supreme blissfulness, this is called the ultimate blessedness. This is the supreme absolute blessedness. Your all sorrows, sufferings, fears, insecurities come due to thoughts of the senses, the external world, which is imaginary, unreal, non-existing. Now, once you are abiding, that is, you are self-awareness. The self-awareness is the supreme state. You are aware about none other than yourself. The objectless awareness is the highest state. That is called Moksha or Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Contentless consciousness is the supreme state. I began by saying that every perception, every knowing, every seeing, everything is happening by the Brahman, but that is the reality or experience of the relative world, and that is indirect perception of the God. But once you want to have a direct, immediate perception, once you shut out your senses, quieten your mind and turn your entire attention to the core of your existence, the entire world dissolves, the duality dissolves, and you remain self-aware. The subject and object both are none but me. I am aware about myself. The consciousness is conscious about consciousness alone, when awareness is aware about none and nothing but awareness alone. That is called supreme state, that is called Moksha, that begins with Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Then the entire world of duality dissolves and you realize that Chidananda Rupaha Shivoham Shivoham. I am Shiva of the nature of blissful consciousness. I am Shiva of the nature of blissful consciousness. Tattvamasi. You too are the same, because Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaivana Paraha. Let me wish that this Sakshat Aparokshanubhuti, the direct and immediate self-realization, becomes a reality of your life and to larger number of people, because that alone is the supreme freedom, absolute freedom that we are hankering after, running after. Om Tat Sat Sri Paramatmane Namaha.